I want to talk for a little bit about why your mindset matters. And it's one of the biggest lessons I learned in the last couple of years here, really. So just this past weekend, I ran my first Spartan Beast, 13 miles, and it was beyond ridiculous weather conditions. So not only was it cold, like 45 degrees during most of the race, it was also raining and incredibly muddy since we were hours after the first heat. So the track had already been torn up. And about 2 years ago, I said I could never even run a Spartan race, let alone the Beast, which is one of the longer ones. So back in October of last year, I ran my first Spartan Sprint, which was 4 miles. And then I ran a Spartan Super after that. And after each one of these, I told myself, and this is such a toxic mentality, I said I could never run a Beast. I just didn't think I had it in me. At the beginning of the year last year, I didn't even think I could run a Spartan Sprint. So Beast seemed out of the question. But now that I've got all three, the Spartan Sprint, 4 miles, Spartan Super, 8 miles, and the Spartan Beast, 13 miles, all under my belt, it changes the way you think about everything. And that was one of the most important lessons I learned. So, you look at your life and you look at these other people that are more successful than you, and you see them as these others. Like there's something innately special or unique to them that makes them different than you. And it's this trap mentality that keeps you in this boring, typical lifestyle that you're stuck in, when in reality the only thing that's really stopping you is you. If you would stop doubting yourself and stop doing the same dumb habits that are keeping you locked in this boring life, if you would spend a little less time gaming, a little less time on the internet, a little less time watching Netflix, and find ways to be more interesting. Go out and start running in the woods, go trail running, go to the gym, start writing. I wasn't always a writer, but it's one of those things that's changed my mindset. It's changed the way I view myself, and it reminds me of where I've come from. And if you do all these little things and you change these habits, it's amazing what you can do. So, you know, I was never a runner, so don't give me that bullshit either. I hear that all the time. People say, like, oh, I'm not a runner. I'm like, yeah, me either. And then I became one. It's kind of funny how it works. You start eating a little better, you start exercising a little bit, and start running, and lo and behold, you can become a runner. So I'd never even run a 5K until June of last year, my first one ever. And then this last summer, I ran a half marathon. I ran a 13-mile Spartan Beast with obstacles and all sorts of crazy, insane stuff that only a lunatic would do, right? And then what's next? January, 50K. I'm going to run 50K in the hills, North Carolina, because it kind of becomes an addiction once you start realizing that you can keep breaking your limits. You want to keep pushing yourself farther and farther and farther, and it's never enough. It's a healthy addiction though. It's a good replacement for a lot of these more toxic addictions that people have. So if you're interested in learning more about it, if you want to see how I went from being like a pretty average couch potato that was spending most of my weekends watching football and drinking beer, to becoming this guy that goes out running Spartan races and writing books and all sorts of stuff. I've got a book called Reclaim Your Manhood, and this is the guide that I basically lived by to completely change my life from somebody that was struggling, coming off of a rough divorce and overweight and just kind of lost. This is the guide for the young man that needs to find his way in his life. And if you're ready to improve your life, this is the book for you. All right, thanks for listening. Path to Manliness, signing out.